So we're live now.
We good?
All
right. Yahweh Shabbat Thumb, Yahweh Shema Thumb, Bashem Yahushai. All right, tonight we are DC scripture breakdown and / law class. All right, so we're gonna get into the practical knowledge, you know what I mean, and give you the breakdown that you could take to the street, you could take to your classes. Any questions you have, definitely ask them. All right. Tonight for sure. I know that story came last week or a week before with this young brother and they try to make him a sexual predator and all that type of stuff. So when I'm seeing, you know, how people's different reactions to it, right? People's different reactions to how it's going, to what was supposed to be done, what was done, what was not done, and you know, it's definitely a good teaching point, a focal point. To reflect what's going on in our communities and our societies. You know what I mean? For those of you who may not be familiar with it, we definitely gonna play that story or just read the story, put the picture up with both of them. I don't know how far the copyright goes with these things, but we're gonna get into it, and it lends to a much deeper issue that we have amongst our people. All right. Let me know if there's any questions online. All right, let me know if there's any questions in the class. Let me know if there's any questions online, and we just take it from there.
No questions
all right.
Online right now, sir.
No sweat. What number we have up?
We have.
Give them the number.
The number to call in is 202-989-1950. 202-989-1950. I'm going to put it in the chat.
You need somewhere to put? Yeah. You got to put it right behind this oil thing here. I don't believe they have a holder just yet.
Okay, come on.
I think he's looking for a holder for that situation. You could twist you could put it at an angle. It's fine. I think that's all. Just keep it as straight up as you can. No sweat. It's up to you. All right. And that should be enough. All right. You run the number again, huh?
The number is 202-989-1950.
Right, 282-189. Say it again.
1950.
1950. Okay, so now you have that story. Pull up the picture of them, please. YK Osiris and this girl Sukiana. Suki with the good, you know what? Right, and that I'm telling you straight up, that ain't nothing good with that thing at all. There's nothing good about it, nothing good in it. It ain't good. All right, it just ain't good. So let's pull up a picture. The brother gonna pull up a picture with them. I'm not sure if you could play the video. The video would be very, much more preferable, but I ain't trying to get the thing flat. But you could definitely pull up a picture of them both, and you'll be able to see who I'm speaking about for those who may not know.
The kiss or just side by side?
Side by side for now. We're going to get to the part of, I wouldn't call it a kiss, but, we get to the part of the infraction. I talk like them district attorneys now. We're going to get to the infraction in a second. All right. Let me know once it's up on the screen too. Because we might have to start to incorporate this screen here a lot more. Especially on Wednesday with the second computer, all right? With the HDMI and everything like that. We had to figure out a way to do it so I could actually see what you see. Maybe I could see it right here too. Yeah. Wait a second. Are we good? Okay, no sweat. So, right, so now everybody know who this is, right? Young brother YK Osiris. He had a hit song, a few years ago. And now this girl, I don't know how young she is, but she's an internet personality that made her name by being as lewd and as, for the streets as much as she could be, right? She done made, took that reputation on, in the worst way, right? And, it again, for both of them, it comes from a background of being abused. It comes from a background of being, molested. You get the point? It comes from that type of background, that type of unsafe household that unfortunately some of us have grown up into, that type of unsafe environment when you're growing, where there's no protection from predators, right? And when there's no protection from predators, what's up?
No.
Oh, it's up? Right. When there's no protection from predators, you create a whole new being in the person you victimize. You create somebody who goes from one extreme to the next. It's like a pendulum, right? Or a spectrum. You create somebody who, because of the violation, associates the violation or associates the action with love or emotion, and then proceed to now seek it and embody it. Do me a favor, Kaga, you could take off this fan right here. This one time. Yeah. I told what right? They now seek to validate it through seeking that type of emotion and attach themselves to people who are, who would be attracted to that type of person. I'm trying to say word it in a way where everybody would understand. But basically, someone who's been violated, they either become very, very promiscuous, very, very loose about sex, very, very loose about sexual activity, very loose about how they portray themselves. Their image has changed. Their image could become very, very extreme in terms of trying to attract that type of attention from every and anybody, or they become extremely violent in an attempt to defend themselves from future predators. And that extreme violence could go from, you're going to get your young disenfranchised youth, whether male or female, who become prime candidates for, life in the street or gangs, or going into the church. You get the point? They go into the church. In the church, you would find them both, right? In any facet of society, you'd find them both. You'd find them both in the church, in the schools, in the gangs, everywhere. You're going to find the extremely violent, who will not let anybody violate them, and you're going to find the extremely passive or the promiscuous, who damn near flips the violation. So instead of this should not happen to me, it's now I want this thing to happen. You get the point? And that's the two sides of it, really, when something like that happens to young people, right? And the situation there with them both is damn near spot on with it. It's like they're both victims of being abused as children, right? He is the passive one. She is very promiscuous as well, but he also on the man side, he is that type. And okay, in the promiscuity, you will have variations of it. You're gonna have the person who is almost like a predator with the sexuality, almost like that. They're hunting using it. And you're going to find many, especially women who, take on take that position. In the promiscuity also, you could also find that weak, effeminate type of man, or that type of sister who is just, used to the thing and will never ever complain. And he falls into that too. He falls into that whole situation. So now you have some, I don't know what it was on, some talk show or something like that, some comedy show or something, and he comes up to her, and first he talks to her. They're talking back and forth. Now she has a persona of being very loose and doing all sorts of, vile things. I wouldn't recommend to anybody personally. There ain't no law against it. Do your thing, but I wouldn't be sharing a drink with you. I'll give you a special cup. You all remember them old school? You might go by your grandparents' place. It's like, no, don't use that one. Use the other one. That's why. Because they think you put in your mouth somewhere, ain't got no business putting it. You get the point? So they start talking, and of course, she's keeping up the persona. She's keeping up the persona of, I'm super sexualized, oversexed. Direct all your lust to me. That's the persona she's keeping up. You get the point? You can find a picture of her too. All right, like a separate picture as I'm talking about her. When I switch them, just find a picture of him. All right, or even some video clip of her doing whatever. No, not whatever. Salaki. A video clip of her just all right, and she starts talking to him in a very lascivious type way and saying how he can't handle her and she'll break him. Even that is for a woman is like, usually men talk like that. And depends on the man who talking. It could sound violent. It sound like, nigga, you bugging. When a woman talks like that, it's because she's taken on that man's spirit. She's taken on that, now she's the conqueror, which is why I say inadvertently you become a predator. Just you using your sexuality to do it. You're not using strength and physical power, which 9 out of 10 times is how the first violation happened. Now you use the power you have, which is what? A man's weakness, his lust. You get the point? That's what you use. A man's weakness, his lust, or the society being oversexed. So most men in the world, of course, is full of that lust. So you could get close to somebody. You could attract certain people around. So she's talking to him in that manner. I'm going to break you. I'm going to do this. You ain't ready for me. You can't handle me. And of course, simple as he could be, because he's just full of lust. Like 90% of our people out there just full of lust and can't be patient and don't have discipline. Now he decides to entertain her back. And somehow in the talking, he makes his way over to her. He gives her one of them passive hugs over the shoulder. He no permission to touch. He just went ahead and give her the hug, and then he proceeds to kiss her on her cheek. She did nothing about it. Then he came back a second time and he grabbed her head and twisted it and kissed her. And then he looked around. He looked around like laughing, like this is what we do, but there's only men around, which is this. I mean, you see the video. You could damn near cut apart that whole video. It's only men around. The whole scene was like, this was familiar to him, with one loose girl and men around, and he's coming and doing whatever he wants to do, which is really what happens in our society. And that there just played out on the big screen when that happens in bathrooms, in school, in high schools, and sometimes elementary school. Get the point? That's what plays out there. That plays out in your church. That plays out at the sleepover. You get the point? Those things play out because he look around and he laugh and he laugh and he step back, then he goes back in again. He goes back in again and turns her face again and kisses her on the mouth. Now, mind you, this is a girl who talks about putting her mouth on a man's, rectum. I think that word's safe, right? I don't know. It's medical. It's medical for the TikTok people. It's a medical fit term. But she decides now she's gonna put her mouth on where he eliminates from, and she makes a song. Eat N words point of elimination. Eat a N words point of elimination, and supposedly it's a song that caught on. I don't know. I ain't sure too much. But if she's saying that and she's you gotta assume she's doing it, and you decide to open mouth kiss this bro just because you're close to a loose, promiscuous woman, okay, not only you are a predator, but there's also a lot of abuse that both of you all is displaying at that point. And the reason I wanted to get into this is because this is in our society. This right here is in our society, and it's in 90% of your celebrities, if not all of them. It's in the majority of your friends and your family. It's in that thing. There's something insanely weak. Let me just let you know straight off the break. YK Osiris was absolutely dead ass wrong for doing that to that girl. It doesn't matter if she's naked. It don't matter if she dressed like a stripper. It does not matter. The power, especially for a man and a black man at that, the power to say la is something very strong. Be able to reject something is masculine. to be able to turn it down. That's a very masculine thing where now you're choosing. When you do accept, you're deliberate in accepting it. It's not what she had a fat ass. It's not the alcohol. It's not, well, we was just in the vibe. It's not that. When you do decide to accept, it's because you deliberately did this thing. When you lose masculinity, you become so feminine and so passive that anything can go, and that's what happened. He did that. None of the men who were a lot older than both of them checked either of them. You get the point? Where you at now with it? You was able to get a video of it?
I got the still picture of her on stage with her face.
Okay. Well, that's enough of that one.
I only had it for like 10 seconds.
So no problem. If you could get the one where he grabbed her face. All right, that one where he grabbed her face, that one is absolutely, he's wrong for it, right? Even though she presents as somebody who is, loose, even though she presents as somebody who is promiscuous, even though she presents as somebody that, you can do this too, and nothing will happen to you. You should never, ever do that to any woman, whether she's black, white, I don't care, alien, it doesn't matter. That there is absolutely weak. It's a weak position to take. You're not a man. You're emasculated. You're effeminate. You're not masculine. Added to that, now you could add on to that the predator, the rapey vibes, what else the other stuff they say? Whatever they say about it. I get the rapey vibes. He this, he that, whatever. He creeped me out. Add that to it. But the root of the problem is that you are so weak, you cannot decide. You cannot make that decision. And making that decision is everything about your masculinity. Right. The ability to judge, that's really what it is. To come in a situation and make a judgment on here or there or nothing. That's where your masculinity lies. But you have lost your masculinity. And this is something that pervades our society because of all the abuse that both men and women face growing up. Now, that's YAHANNA. She's for sure a harlot. She's for sure a harlot. But this girl here has been abused herself badly, very badly. And that definitely doesn't give him the right to do any of those things that he just did. He is weak for it. He's definitely a predator. But more so, he's not a man. He's not masculine. Right, and I want to say he's not a man, meaning he was not raised as a man. He's a child. He's that victim who was himself molested. He's that victim who was himself abused. He's that victim that he's just passive to whatever seems sexy. You get the point? Like for the life of me, and especially in this season we're in with the sexual operations and stuff like that. Does he even know if that's a woman? How does he even know? But he decides to put his mouth there. There's all kind of diseases, man. Syphilis, herpes. God damn it, Negro. There's all kind of shit. What's the other one they had the other day with the COVID? There's something them sodomites was getting in their mouth with the COVID. It had buttons and all kind of shit over them. Monkeypox, goddamn. All that is going on, but you're not thinking about that because all you're thinking about is the pleasure you could derive from this easy person. Right. If you cannot turn down things, you are a feminine man. Right. Your masculinity is your ability to now decide, to now choose, to now make a choice. Give me in the Apocrypha, one daughter is better than another. All right. You get me in the Apocrypha, one daughter is better than another. But you had something I saw you was looking at.
Constant. There was a question online, and the question was like, says, how about thus, like, sir, if I could get a quick summary breakdown on the story of Tobias, if I could, watch, sir. Okay. I'll try to get it for you. Yeah, go ahead, please.
In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 36, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
A woman will receive every man.
Say it again.
A woman will receive every man.
Do you have a picture up? All right. Read it one more time.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 36, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
A woman will receive every man.
Right. Go ahead.
Yet is one daughter better than another.
Right. A woman will receive every man. What's another word for every?
All.
Any. Well, not all, but any. Like that's the point of this thing here.
Right.
Any. It really didn't matter who was there for her. YK Osiris would have kissed any woman. He's like her. You understand? He's lost his masculinity. He's not looking at her and be like, I'm walking past here hoping she don't see me, so I don't have to take a photo up with this whore. You get the point?
Right.
Like there was once a time men would do that. Men would, even in the world, I don't even want to be seen with this thing here.
Right.
But he's not there because he's just like her. He's receiving every person.
Right.
It doesn't matter with him. And he looked like he'll receive men too.
Yeah.
Until it's straight up and down. He looked like he'll receive a man too. If the pressure is on enough, he'll just, well, whatever. Right? He'll go take a long draw on a blunt and blame it on the blunt. Say he was high. But he looks like he's not capable of holding himself to a higher standard. You get the point? Read one more time.
Verse 21. A woman will receive every man. Yet is one daughter better than another.
Right? Yet is one daughter better than another. What does that part mean? One daughter is better than another. What does that mean? Yet is one daughter better than another. Go ahead, Art.
So just to keep the simple, another woman has morality, is shamefaced. You know what I mean? Has respect for her father, respect for herself, respect for her nation. And that would make her better than a woman who is without those things.
Okay. Yes. There's still a little bit more. You don't forget that rule, all right? You'll make sure you'll keep that attendance. Huh? Okay, there's okay. And because it's better, then what?
Because it's better, then
and what's next? Because it's better. A woman will receive every man. If she's receiving every man, what is she not doing?
Giving herself to.
What is she not doing? If she receive every man or any man, that's what every man would mean. If she receives every man, what is she not doing? No, is she going to turn away all? Okay, if she receives every man, there's something she's not doing. Go ahead.
Brother online, also Mashamar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so it means that when a woman will accept any man, but some make better decisions than others.
Some make, okay, I'll take that. What she's not deciding, that's why she will receive every man. You get the point? She's not making a decision. She's not deciding this. Yet, one daughter is better than another. One daughter is better than another. What's happening? The man is making that decision. He's now choosing. That's where you want to be at all times. You want to have that choice. If you're not in a position where you're going to have that choice, and I'm talking in context here, of course, but really in everything. If you're not putting yourself in that position, when I say putting yourself in that position, in the spirit, your spirit's supposed to always be, this is a deliberate thing. I'm not just doing something just because it's hot outside, or I'm doing something because it feels good. This drink feels good, or that you're more in control of what's going on. That's a masculine trait to have. he did not have that there. He was more like the woman who would receive any man. You get the point? And that makes for a weak man, and that makes for a man who will violate you. That's the other part of it. That man who will violate you, who will hold your face and twist it and kiss you in front of everybody or fondle you in front of everybody and do it again and again. His spirit is now effeminate, like a woman's spirit, where he can't say, I don't want this, I want that. I don't want this one, I want that one. Just to be able to do that, you have to be masculine. Sisters are very indecisive, by nature. It's not a fault of women, but that's how you are, because somebody is supposed to tell you what to do. Somebody's supposed to say, you should do this, you should do that. If you indecisive, in your moments of being indecisive or not sure, you should have somebody to give you surety. You should have somebody to make that decision for you. But of course, because we done been so destroyed, we don't have that person who gonna make that decision. So she goes out and becomes Sukiana. You get the point? Now Twitter decides for her. Her fans decide for her. The oppressor decides for her. And that's that. But he should definitely have not ever gone down that road. And you should never go down that road either. You should be in way more control of yourself. Absolute more control of yourself, and never, ever, ever put yourself where now, well, I just had to. It's Sukiana. Like, I don't know what the hell he thought he was. He done kissed every Negro's behind that she done did what she said she was doing in that song. And to him, this is what? Something great? Like, you couldn't just say, good song, girl, and give her, a high five or pat on the shoulder, see you doing your thing and keep it moving. He has to violate her because, of course, that's the culture. And that's what was done to him. That's what he does. That's what he does. And now all your music and all your, wonders you did before, now everybody's going to know you as the chump who tried to force a whore. Like, think about how low you have to be in your spirit and your element or your ether, whatever them conscious people say, where you have to force a whore. Like, something's desperately wrong with you. Something's absolutely wrong with you, and it's not masculine at all. Give me the scripture one more time.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 36, verse 21. A woman will receive every man. Yet is one daughter better than another.
Yet is one daughter better than another. Give me Give me 1 Corinthians 6 and 15. All right, give me 1 Corinthians 6 and 15.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 15.
15 and 16, please.
Verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot?
Right, so read that one more time.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ?
So he's asking a rhetorical question. You don't know that your bodies are the members of Christ, like you make up the body of Christ. You part of something that this is not you anymore. You part of something that's far greater than you, far bigger, that's going to outlive you. Like you part of this nation who he's in charge of. Go ahead.
Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot?
Right. Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot? How do you do that?
By not choosing the woman that's better.
Exactly. Like you go marry a whore. Right. You go join yourself to a whore. Now, a kiss doesn't make marriage, but what he did there was just now this thing is following him. It's following him all over the place, and he didn't have to do it. The lesson for us is far worse is happening, like I said, in the school bathrooms, at the sleepovers, at the Sunday school, at the mall, Far worse is happening at the parties, the young people parties, and the what's called that thing, spring break.
Right.
Far worse is happening there, and it should not happen because you should be a man. You should be way more masculine than that, and you lack the masculinity to say, like, I ain't doing that shit.
Right.
You lack that masculinity to stand on it and be like, nah, this is wrong, this is right. Versus, well, it's whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
I ain't knocking it. It's on you. That's a very effeminate type of spirit. It's absolutely effeminate. And you're going to join yourself to a harlot. Go ahead.
God forbid.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
Right. Don't you know that you join yourself to a harlot? No, you and her one.
Right.
You and her the same. What's the proof of that? STDs. It's the proof of that, which is what that white Osiris could have had, probably did get. I don't know. But that girl is, she's our sister, but she's dirty. That bro is unclean. She need a few 7 days. A few of them, and she to buy that in bulk, like in Costco, a case of 7 days. She's not clean. I'm trying to tell you, she's unclean. And for brothers in the world, you should have a very high standard. This internet doesn't make every broad seem clean to you. But without the Facebook and the damn Instagram, you would have to see her every day coming out the damn house, and she can't trick you with filters and lighting and the old ring light and the poses and this and that. She can't trick you with that. And another thing you're getting tricked with is the attention. You don't see 300 likes in your. This is how you internalize it in your mind. Well, she must be bad if so many people like her. When that ain't true. You just equate. You just in the same lust as them. You get the point? You're in the same lust as them, and you wouldn't understand what you get into until later on, when this thing done turn into something absolutely horrible for you. Absolutely horrible. You should have a certain amount, a certain standard for yourself, and never ever compromise on it. Right. Never compromise on it. Stand on it, and you're gonna have to be a man to do it. You're gonna have to be masculine. You're gonna have to be strong. It's a certain strength and discipline that makes masculinity. Why? Because to stand on your decision, you're going to suffer consequences. Right. Any decision you make, even the decision to not decide. The decision to not decide is still a decision. It's still a decision. You're going to suffer consequences for it. Right. So now to go through them consequences, you're going to have to have some sort of masculinity. This world wants you to look at masculinity as something toxic. It wants you to look at masculinity as something that's you too extreme, or it's old and archaic, or you dead, or you boring, or whatever. Because this world wants you passive for everything they put in front of you. That's really what it is. It wants you passive for everything, when your masculinity is damn near like a defense. Like, nah, that don't look right. I don't like that. Don't do that no more. Don't bring that here. That's a masculine spirit. Right. You get the point? That's you're making a decision now. This world does not like that situation. This world wants you to be open-minded. Right. That's the best way. The open-mindedness is the opposite of masculinity. Right. You get the point? And for sisters, you don't have to be masculine, but your father is going to be masculine, and he's going to give you to a masculine man. You wouldn't have to worry about masculinity. Children wouldn't have to worry about it because the fathers would be in the home. But now you see why there's such a push, such a war, such a fund of the budget that they use to fund this war on black men is ridiculous. To assassinate black men's character, to assassinate black men's spirit, that's an eternal war this oppressor has had on us for thousands of years. Right. It's to take away your masculinity, because once you're not masculine anymore, your nation is destroyed. Precept.
How can you spoil man's goods unless you first
give it to me? Mark 3:27, 3:29.
3:27.
Mm-hmm.
Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods.
Mm-hmm.
Except he will first bind the strong man.
He would bind the what?
Bind the strong man.
What kind of man?
The strong man.
Exactly. That's the important part here.
Right.
And the strength here is not talking about physical strength.
Right.
The strength here is talking about that spiritual strength, that masculinity.
Right.
He don't have to, you notice he didn't say just bind the man. He said bind the strong man.
Right.
YK Osiris, this is, Salaki. This is not to beat up on him. This is an example, because what he did is what happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. These type of violations happen all the time, and it's because that's the spirit in this place, to be so like fluid. You be so fluid. That's why they have these words like what? Gender fluid. Say again?
The spectrum, sir.
The spectrum, yeah, gender fluid. You have what's the other word they use? I forget the other one. But that gender fluid is so, right on it. Because they want you to just be they want you to receive. They want you now to have the entire society has an effeminate spirit. Right. You get the point? It has an effeminate spirit. What's up, man?
No, he just had to be this.
Okay, no sweat. The entire society has an effeminate spirit, which is why every song on the radio is about women.
Right.
It's about how much she miss her and this and that, and even the YK Osiris, and he said he'll give her the world. Yep. I'll give you the world, baby girl. You don't. He said you ain't got to be perfect. Right. Well, that's why he kissed Sukiana. Right. What do you mean you don't have to be perfect?
Right.
Salaki, you better have some goddamn stance, some sort of level.
Right.
Like what am I getting with you for sex?
Right.
You got to be something. You got to be perfect in some way, some standard. But if you ain't even got to be perfect and you get the world, you're passive, you're effeminate, you're not choosing, you're not making a decision like, I'll never get with her. But see her, yeah, she could get, yeah. She could take my name. She could be associated with me. You get the point? That's a very masculine way to be. And it's going to translate throughout your whole life, where you're able to now stand on things as they come across you. You're able to now guide your house, or guide brothers who you might have to watch over, or sisters who you watch over, or anything. Even on your slavery. That spirit is what, the Lord gave to Adam, of course, before Eve had him in the damn figure 4, right? That spirit is what, have dominion over everything, and to decide what goes where and what gets called this and what gets called that. You're going to have to maintain that masculine spirit, because, brother, what's out here is very, very strong. It's absolutely strong. Where was that? Read that. Continue reading now.
Come.
Read it again from the top.
Come, sir. Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Go ahead.
Verily, I say unto you, all sins shall be forgiven unto the sons of man.
No, give me no, Saki, read it again from the top.
Come. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Except
he would first bind the strong man. Right. And binding him is taking away a man's masculinity. Right. Taking away his ability to make a decision that he wants. Right? That's the first thing. You want to fix Black, Hispanic, and First Peoples society and community. You first fix Black men. Right. Like, it doesn't come from any other direction. It doesn't, the source of correcting our people doesn't come from anywhere else, right? You could make Black women millionaires overnight. Nothing would change. You could empower children. Nothing would change. As long as Black men are disenfranchised, our society is going to be destroyed. Case in point, that shooting in Chicago. If that sister had a husband, would that have happened? If she had a strong man, would that have happened? Break it down. Who she would have called instead of her son? She'd have called him. Before she made the call, what would have happened? See where you're at. Before she made the call,
I would think she wouldn't be in that situation
Break it down.
because her man would have given her guidance on if this were to happen.
Okay, you saying it nice. He would have given her guidance? What the hell are you talking about?
He would have told her what to do if X, Y, and Z would have happened, certain situations happen.
Okay, even that is not practical. Because you don't sit with your rib or your kids and run through every possible scenario because you can't. You would, okay, you know what I was fighting over? I had to call my Okada and do a whole, reconnaissance on this shit. Okay, I damn near don't even want to say it because this shit sounds ridiculous. Apparently, there was one more pork chop in the back. And they was fighting over who was going to get it. And that's what Captain Malcolm told me. You'll check Captain Malcolm out Friday, brother, on the Round Table of Truth. I believe he's going to talk to the either the man's sister or the mother's little sister. But they was fighting over that. That's what started the whole argument. You get the point? Come on with it now.
I'll say don't argue with no man.
Okay. Don't argue with no man. Now, how does that look? How does don't argue with no man? How does she learn that?
So like, okay, she would call, like as the situation came up, and like she in the heat of the argument. Okay, she not as disciplined, like she not bridled in all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she would call in the middle of the argument, and that even in the midst of that, he would say, why are you going back and forth with him? Shut your damn mouth.
Okay, well, that's one way. And she did call in the middle of the argument.
Right.
The problem is that 14-year-old can't tell her that.
Right.
You get the point? Right.
Because
she's not going to call, I don't know what to do. She's not going to call like that. She's going to call this nigga here, so and so and so. And the brother might be, what the hell is you doing? Right. So, man, get out of that place, whatever. Right. That 14-year-old can't tell her that because that's his mother. Right. You get the point? It's a trigger situation. Before the call, there's something that could happen if there was a strong man. But because there's no strong man, a pork chop spoil the house act. Damn. I said, Mark, are you sure it didn't even beef? He said, it's pork. Got beef over pork. So okay.
Maybe I'm okay. I don't know. I might be reaching with this one.
Come on with it.
Usually, brothers know when he got that type of rib. And so it's like sometimes you be like, hey, look, when you go there, don't get into it with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just get what you need to get and be quiet and come back. Like, because, okay, once again, this brothers know if they got that type of rib. So it was just like, hey, when you go out and drive, don't honk your horn at nobody.
Okay, that's true. Okay, them again, and once again, those are normal scenarios. Don't honk your horn. Don't get in. It's general. Right. But something like this may not happen in general. Right. Maybe she was in front of him. Maybe he placed the order and left and came back. I don't know how everything fell into it, but there's something that can happen. Her calling is number 2 on the action. You get the point? Right. There's a number 1 that this is how it should be.
No,
because you said it earlier too. Go ahead. You said a little bit of it earlier. Go ahead.
If I was correct, that was I thought that was a dude that she was dealing with.
No, I think that's a stranger. It's a full-on stranger, brother. I mean, as far as I know. Now you might know something else. Come on, spill it. Come on, NBC.
Good. I watched the video before it really aired out like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it first had happened, it was only 100 some views on the video in the very beginning. I was surprised because where it went.
Right.
So that's how I knew I caught it in the very beginning. And the way he was yelling out, unless I wasn't paying attention correctly, the way he was, coming out of yelling, he kept telling her to go get in the car or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the comment section. They were saying, and some people in the comment section were saying that they was together.
I don't think the people knew what was going on. I don't think he was telling her go get in the car. She had made the comment, I think, about the car with sending the boy in there, go get the strap. And he's like, oh yeah, go get it. Because again, Jake ain't thinking, everybody make threats. Everybody. So he's like, well, yeah, go ahead, do it. Right. But he didn't know. You get the point? Go ahead,
It's like I said, if I may, okay, a woman that has a man is bridled more than a woman without a man. Meaning, like she's under authority. So like
you're right.
Her responses to another man is not the same as a woman who's not underneath authority.
That's true. Okay, and that's one scenario. So we already established she does not have a man. That's known. She ain't got no man.
Right. For
sure, she ain't got no man. There ain't a man close enough that even the 14-year-old could have called.
Right.
You get the point? There's not a male figure in there who has dominance, who makes decisions.
Right.
He's the decider. There's no person like that. Now, the scenario I'm giving you is if there was a strong man there, she would have called him.
Right.
I'm saying that's number 2 on the option. That's B. That's plan B. There's A. There's number 1. There's something that should happen before you even think about a call. Come on.
I was gonna say leave.
Okay, that's an option too. She could leave. But even the thing to leave, that comes from having a strong man somewhere. Right? That thing to leave. And even to leave, you can't just leave a heated situation. That leaving, at first it looks like aggression, and then it looks like, well, I could punk you now, so let me start swinging. You know what I mean? Like, even leaving, you have to time your exit. You can't just walk out. There's something else that happens before shit going left, bring the strap, or there's somebody down here yelling at me, I don't know what to do. There's something goes on up here first, and then decision get made. Go ahead.
Is it just simply trying to talk to him?
She could try to talk to him, but even to talk to him is going to have this element. That's what she's talking about, to talk to him. Right? Because the broad was talking to the nigga, but she was talking at him. She's saying talk to him, which is they're trying to de-escalate it. There's something else that's number 1. You need this. You need this for sure.
Her being shamefaced and not want to embarrass or shame her husband.
That's what you need. You need her to be like, this man, cause God gonna kick my ass if I do this shit here. Not literally kick your ass, but if Bakwash see me acting like this, it's going to be hell. You know what, brother? You could go ahead and have it. In fact, I'm gonna buy it for you. Ain't no sweat. Give him mine. It's on me. It's on me, brother. Stay strong, brother. Ain't no sweat. You got me next time, right? You laugh that off. Because in her mind, if she get into some altercation out here, if her head, if her ruler, if that man who's deciding her life has to come down and hear about why she's in cuffs in the back, there's something in her that is going to fear him more than the police. You need that. And when I say fear him, I'm not talking about for physical fear, like he's beating on her. That's another form of the weakness of being indecisive. You get the point? You could have that presence, you could have that spirit in that house or wherever, where dealing with you is more difficult than the court and the fine and the scrap I'm about to get into. So let me find a way to get out of this shit so I don't have to hear that nigga in the mouth tonight. And that's that. You need that. If that's not there, then she had to call you. Now, it could have stages in it. There's stages to the thing. Maybe she's young in the truth. Maybe you met her somewhere and, you all come in later on, or you married her later on, or whatever. There's stages to it. Both y'all could be young. There's stages to it where if you could get her to call you, that's golden. But now you want to take her to the level of Zen, the feng shui. I'm just joking. You want to take her to a level where she could go wherever. You see how brothers be so nervous about a woman going on a girl's trip? You nervous about it because you know what you have. She could go wherever. I know if I get a call at 3 a.m. from Las Vegas PD, we gonna have some problems when you get back. You better go take as much connecting flights as you need to before you get back here to delay what's gonna happen in this house. You get the point? It has to be like that, because now it's going to put power on her head. You get the point? Give me that scripture too in 1 Corinthians 11, please. Right? It's going to put power on her head. And she's going to need that power on her head if she's going to survive. If you don't want your daughters and your sisters and your nieces and your ribs or your mother being Sukiana, you better get power on her head. That's what you need. You're going to need power on her head. You're going to need her to, you're going to need that. That thing can't just come 7:30 in the morning when she put on the white people voice to talk to, Mr. Finkelstein at the job. That thing can't just be then. It has to be all around. And you could help her. You could teach her how to be a woman, right? You could teach her how to, respond to you so that now she ain't just running crazy. But of course, you can't be YK Osiris. You can't be somebody who had a, she ain't want to kiss you. She have a headache, so you take it anyway. You can't be that Negro. You can't be purple in this thing. You can't now because she don't want you, you go take some anyway, which is that same spirit, that old rapey vibe, that old creepy vibe. It's because you're indecisive. And that's why she's not even attracted to you, because you're not decisive. You're going to be, she's indecisive. She knows she's indecisive. She needs some, listen, we go in here. And now she like looking at you like, he yelled at me, but I kind of like that shit. She going to get your attitude. She going to pout, but she ain't leaving because she know who you are. She knows, she understands that authority over her. You get the point? Who are the scripture I want? Go ahead.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 10. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head.
Read the scripture above it.
Verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman was created for the man. Right? What does that mean? As well. What does that mean? Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
I was going to bring up a reference in the book of Genesis, because when God created the earth, he created the woman to be a helpmate for the man, not the man to be a helpmate for the woman.
Yes, in a nutshell. All right. In a nutshell, Eve was taken out of the world. There was more people on the earth than Eve. Eve was given a chance to be with Adam, to help Adam. The Lord created Adam, and he'd rocked with Adam all the way through. He saw that Adam needed a helpmate that was good for him. And he decided now to take a woman out of the world and put a spirit on her and make her marry Adam. So now he has that help he needs to go forward, right? She was made for him. Her purpose is for him. Give me that scripture too with her desire. Give me that one. All right, where you at?
Verse 9, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Right. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Right. And this is, now to some people, again, usually because you done been violated young, this is scary talk to you, because it could be perceived that you being created for him is a power thing. It's a, and when I say power, I'm talking the physical part, right? In the spiritual part, it is a power situation. But in the physical part, you thinking, well, now you are just supposed to now receive everything that comes your way, all the abuse or whatever. That's not what this is. That's not what this is at all. All right? You found the Kagar?
Yeah,
go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6. Unto the woman, he says, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Right.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband.
Right. This was the consequence of Eve's decision. This was a consequence. Right. He would greatly multiply her sorrow and childbearing. That's why a human woman goes through way more pain than a rhinoceros, than an elephant, than a cow. Have you ever heard a cow scream giving birth to a calf? And that nigga had got hoofs, and is bigger than a baby. But this is the consequence of the decision. And of course, one of the consequences is that so that this does not happen again, you are going to have power over your head, like it said in Corinthians, right? You are going to have power over your head, which is read the last part of that, Kaga.
It's like, and that desire shall be to thy husband.
And your desire is going to be to your husband. What does that part mean?
You don't want to obey him.
Yes. I'll take that. Anything else? It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more in the spirit, but that's a good start for sure. Go ahead.
Is it everything that he desires, everything he tries to fulfill, she's gonna make sure that she does?
That now becomes her desire.
Right.
Her desire shall be to her husband, meaning her desire shall be to her husband's desire. Like what he wants is what she wants. You get how you know you have the Holy Spirit. Because what you want, what you do, what you eat, what you wear is what the Lord wants, what he wants you to eat, what he wants you to wear. Her being a good wife is if she whatever is your desire, that now is like that motivates her. Oh, you want to get this? Oh shit, let's do this. You get the point? Just think CEO and office manager. Just think that, just that dynamic where everything is organized for him. She coming up with the solutions for this, working on the schedule so he could be better. And by him being better, everybody get better, including her. You get the point? I think that type of scenario, that was the consequence of her actions. Because again, this is Eve, right? She gonna need somebody to make decisions for her. She can't make them decisions herself. She has to have power on her head. Power on her head would have saved her. Power on her head could have saved that brother's life. Power on her head would have made YK Osiris realize this could be a man's wife.
Right.
And I could not just violate her, but he might come looking for me. Let me keep my hands off this brother's rib. Let me be like, hey, what's going on? You all right? You all right? I see you. All right, cool. Go ahead,
So I just had a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to the scriptures, the Most High said that, and her desire will be unto her husband.
Mm-hmm.
If her desire is not unto her husband, is that when you go to Indeed?
Indeed. Don't go to Indeed.
Be filled?
Don't go to Indeed. There's porn everywhere. What you want to do is you're gonna call Jeremiah and get some counsel. That's what you want to do first. You call your camp leader, you work out to get some counsel. Because sometimes things could be fixed. You just don't have the tools to fix it. You get the point? Things could be fixed. Don't give up on the bro just yet. Don't give up on her. Take her ass to counsel. Hell, don't wait until she take you. She take you to counsel, it's gonna be bad. You drag her up in there and lay out every goddamn thing. All the videotape, pull the videotape with her talking out her neck and turkey necking and doing this whole world with her whole neck going all over the place. Bring her forth. You get the point? Now, sometimes in a situation like that, the thing could be fixed. It could be something that you're not doing. You get the point? It could be you might need to be more decisive. You might need to check her. You might need to do certain things. Or this might be something where, the Lord had to deal with her. Because the spirit she's giving you is because she's following another man's desire. She following somebody, and not just her. You following somebody too. And if you're not following the Lord, brother, you're surely following Satan. So if she's not following you, who's influencing her? So it's got to be somebody else. Now, in the right world, in the right kingdom, in the kingdom of Christ, if she ain't following you, she might be listening to her father. So now you could go talk to her father. And you might find out that the story she giving him is bullshit. And he probably would know it because he knows his daughter. You get the point? But we are in this situation now because of how the society is set up today, where there's nobody who has power over this girl head. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my daddy. I was daddy last night. I was zaddy last night, but all of a sudden today I ain't nothing. You get the point? It's that. She has to have power over her head. She has to, and it's something that she has to learn how to do, because since she's small, she's learning about being independent and strong. I am some, was he song? I am something, I am woman. I forget the goddamn song. Some old school anthem. I am this, I am that. Sister, you know what I'm talking about, right? You don't know the song I'm talking about. Shit. It's some song where they're saying I am woman. Like I am invincible, I am something, I am woman. Like it's something that the society grows where it's really telling her she doesn't need power on her head. She doesn't need to have any sort of power. Woman, thou art loosed.
Right.
You get the point? Woman, thou art loosed is no power. What's up? No sweat.
It's still normal.
No sweat. Woman, thou art loosed. You get the point? That's what it is. It's taking off power off her head, which is a very dangerous thing to have, because now when she has no power on her head, she is going to receive every man. And if it gets that easy, men will begin to get more effeminate because she's just receiving every man. By no means am I saying brothers' weakness is because of her. Brothers just got to stop being weak. You get the point? Brothers got to stop being weak. Give me finish off what you was reading. 1 Corinthians.
We at 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head. Right. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head, to be under authority. Go ahead. Because of the angels. Because of the angels, meaning what? What does that mean? Because of the angels. Go ahead.
Just like the angels watch over us, the Most High, they have somebody watching over them as well. God is their head as well.
No. I thought you were saying it the first time. Because of the angels. The angels is taking notes of everything that's going on. So because the angels is taking notes, she needs to have power over her head so that the angels don't carry a bad report. You get the point? It's that. It's you're helping her. You're helping her by giving her boundaries, by giving her a standard. Giving a woman a standard is a help. It's damn near like medication. Because now you're giving her a purpose. You're giving her a purpose to do something, you giving her a standard that's going to please you. And she wants to please you. That's the real interaction it should be, the real type of chemistry it should be. But of course, you're going to have be able to make decisions and decide. You get the point? And when I say make decisions and decide, you could be at a point where you're indecisive. What's the decision then? Oh, he's going to say something else? Go ahead, handle that. You could be at a point where you might be indecisive. What's the decision then? Because you sure as hell ain't going to know everything. Right? Are you just going to stay indecisive? What are you going to do? You decide to call. When you don't call, what's the decision you're making? No.
You decide now to take on whatever comes with you.
Okay, let's keep it simple. You're right. When you call, you're deciding to get counsel. When you don't call, you're deciding to not get counsel. It's a decision. You're going to make a decision anyway. You're just going to make that decision and run with it. And you're going to and by deciding to not get counsel, you're deciding to deal with the consequences of your actions and your decisions. You decide to get counsel. Now you have something to go off of, a path that somebody already walked, something that somebody already did, but now you're making decision. You're making a decision also comes with a certain amount of personal responsibility where you taking responsibility for it. If we win, I'm responsible. If we lose, I'm responsible. But win or lose, it's on me. Like that is a masculine thing. That's a masculine thing. And now in here, you're going to get tempered to become that type of person, because now you're going to have to be that type of person to raise this nation up. You're going to have to be able to take responsibility and count the cost and know when to go left and know when to go right and know when to roll it all and bet it all and know when to be conservative. You get the point? You're going to have to know it and make a decision. You understand? You was going to say something else? Who could pick up from where the brother was? Read it again. Read that last part where he was at. Right?
For this cause.
So like, then somebody give me First Ezra chapter 3. And just hold that. There was something else. First Ezra 3. I think Ecclesiastes. Go ahead and read out.
Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
For this cause ought the woman to have power over her head.
Right.
Because of the angels.
Mm-hmm. She ought to have power over her head because of the angels. Give me Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24. 24 and 25.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Right? Read it one more time.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself.
Right? A help like unto himself, which is her desire shall be to her husband or to his desire. Her taste shall be to his taste. How she dresses is how he likes. What she's going to find what she likes within what he likes. You get the point? Because, of course, this world is so adamant about taking away a brother's right to rule, a brother's right to be masculine and to be dominant. It's going to make it sound like, well, she can't wear what she wants. She could wear what she wants as long as it's within what, it's fine by me. Right. And that's not abnormal, because you'll get into a uniform that you hate and go to a slavery. Right. You'll wear what they tell you to wear. You get the point? That's what you'll do. You'll willingly go wear what they tell you to wear with no problems. Right. You get the point? And you find a way to still have your personality and you don't get lost in the uniform code or whatever, and you still find a way to be you. Still find that in your husband's desire, in your father's desire, in some father figure's desire. Find that there. You should find it there. Go ahead.
So like I said, what you said is so heavy. One thing I realized about having a daughter, and really what it taught me about women, is like having a daughter, it shows you really, it helps you understand women a little bit better. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what girls do with their fathers. It's like, they find out now what is acceptable to you, and they have no problem now operating within those parameters.
No problem at all.
Yeah, it's just like this is the guidelines, the parameters. I'll work within this, and it's like they happy to do it.
Exactly, and that's why train up a child in the way he should go,
right.
And when they get older, they will not depart from it.
Right.
So now, like the question Bukwash asked, in a time where you may be dealing with a sister and she's not, all the way there, don't go to Indeed right away. Indeed gonna always be there. The streets is full of, and there's more women than men. You know what I mean? This women outnumber men anyway. It's not like, well, if I don't go now, there's gonna be a shortage. They ain't eggs are. You know what I mean? The eggs gonna be short before women are. There's going to be women all the time. You probably might wanna. I ain't wanna say this. Okay. You want to set this one straight and make sure you operating right before you go get another one. You understand what I'm saying? Because why? What does a wise man know as well? She giving you some problems. First thing, well, the Bible said I can have more than one. Let me go get one. What does a wise brother know? Sister, don't be afraid to answer.
Okay, it's two things. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, her problems could be an indication of something that you should work on in your leadership skills, and or her problems could now you bringing in another system, and now it's going to bring problems to the new thing too as well.
Okay, both of them is that first thing. The both of them is that first thing.
Right.
Go ahead.
Going back to the first statement, if your first rib got problems and you correct it, and her desires are your desires, and everything is settled, if you go and get a second wife, she will understand that she under one authority and one rulership.
Okay, I'll take that. Y'all ain't saying how one of you said. The problem could be you, could be me. That's all you want to say. You want just like how you would willingly be like, well, she's a problem. She's a problem. Let me just go check and see if I'm the problem. Let me go. And that's what you do when something wrong with your car. You go to a mechanic, right? Mm-hmm. And then he does what? He drives the car, or he tell you to turn it on, and he gives you his opinion. And he'd be like, nah, it's straight. And you'd be like, nah, when I'm driving, the steering do something funny. And he'd be like, nah, that's just the road. Then the problem is you, it's not the car. You get the point? You want to do that first, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to always be a person who now you want to run and get something new thinking that's the solution. That's not the solution. You get the point? Now, it's not to say that getting a second rib is not a solution. Sometimes that is the solution. You get the point? That's, that could definitely be the solution. But what you want to do is you want to call somebody who you know, have one counselor, like Ecclesiasticus said. In the school, John Hyman gives excellent marriage counsel. You could talk to your camp leader. Your camp leader set it up, or you could call them directly if you have that, that the number to call, and you set up for that, or you call and just get counsel yourself. And you want to hear this and hear that, and it might be recommended that, or it might be recommended marriage counsel, or it might be recommended that this is what you do. Go and do this. Start doing this. Start doing that. See how that works. You're going to get some sort of thing. And now over time, you're going to know if, okay, this is how I have to handle this situation. Or if it's like, I don't know what the hell going on over here. But you're going to have to decide to fix the problem first. You get the point? You're going to have to want to fix it first. Because if you don't want to fix it, when you go to Indeed, Bakwash, what you'll find out is the new hire after the when you just get slavery, you show up on time for about how much weeks is it? 6 weeks?
90 days.
90 days is the probation. After you get that slavery, after 90 days, right? You start putting in for time off. You start showing up late because you passed the probation. Well, Bakwash, we in the truth, and this is the Bible, and the Lord is real. But what you'll find is after that honeymoon period wear off, now she is a full-time employee with benefits, and they can't tell her shit for coming late. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. I work here just like everybody else, nigga. What you gonna do now? You're gonna go hire more people? Nah, you probably might want to work on fixing something, fixing that problem, or there's the better way, the more appropriate way to put it because of the context of the class. You might want to become that person who she's thinking twice about offending. And when I say offending, I'm talking about with bad behavior. Right. You get the point? With bad behavior, with being reckless, with being Sukiana. She might know, because she knows who you are. You will decide to give her hell over the shit. You get the point? And this is not talking about putting hands on a woman. In the UPK, you don't have to put your hands on a woman. You see what goes on in the street, right? What do you think is, cotton and kitten fur in the house? No, in the UPK, we run the house. We don't run around the house. It's a totally different thing. I know you Christians, you all be running around the house playing tag and hide and seek and shit because you're scared the broad gonna crack you in your head with the frying pan. in here, we just run the house. We just run the house. We don't run around the house. We don't do stuff like that. So you want to become that type of person, and you want to become that person who she willingly wants to have that type of, that shiver for. That's the best way. That, she called on the phone, she's passing out something. That you on the phone to the point where she had to do this. Like she had to watch the voice come through the phone. And when she done, her whole tone changed. Can I don't want? Yes, I don't want. No problem. Right. And that sets her that now she's regrouped now. Right. Now she's regrouped. What you don't understand, a woman's freedom, it destroys her mind, it destroys her spirit because she don't know what to do with the freedom. Remember, she's undecisive. She don't know what to do with the freedom. The freedom that's not for her. It'll destroy her spirit. You don't want that for her. Read the scripture again. Ecclesiasticus 36.
36 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
Once again, it begins a possession. To begin something, you have to decide to do it. Like you start a race. Right. You don't just accidentally fall into a marathon. You don't get drunk one night and wake up in a marathon, right? That some people do. Some people do. They get drunk one night, go into the club, and now they're in it for life, for a long period of time, which is what a marriage is, a marathon. It's long. You decide to go into this thing. You sign up, you show up, and now we start and go. You deciding. He who getteth a wife begins a possession. You're deciding to take responsibility for this. You're deciding to do that. You're not YK Osiris just grabbing people and kissing them randomly like a nasty punk, like a chump. Right. You're weak. You're supposed to have some standard for yourself, brother. Right. Now you got them YK Osiris. You had every young broad singing, "I'll give you the world, baby girl," something. Every broad. You could have just, that's what you choose to put your mouth on. Right. I don't know if he has a rib or kids or whatever, but I don't know if you know other people, potential ribs will see that shit. Like, oh no, he kissed Sukiana. No. Who is he going to talk to now? You get the point? Because you're not deciding. You deciding that's who you're supposed to be. Keep going.
A help like unto himself,
mm-hmm.
and a pillar of rest. Verse 25. Where no hedges, there the possession is spoiled.
Right. A help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. She's a pillar of rest. Why? Because you don't now have to come and do other things that she could now take up and do for you. Right? Just think again, CEO and the office manager. He don't have to come and fix the Rolodex. He don't have to come and put the coffee on. He don't have to figure out when the meetings is scheduled. Somebody's doing that for him and wants to do it for him. We'll do the overtime. We'll make extra calls. We'll do this and that to make sure that person's job function is way easier. You apply that to yourself in the house, it helps. It helps. It absolutely helps, right? Go ahead. She's a pillar of rest after that.
Verse 25. Where no hedges, there the possession is spoiled.
Where no hedges, there the possession is spoiled. When she doesn't have power on her head, the possession is spoiled. That hedge is power on her head. It's a barrier. It's a limit. Sisters, you all need a limit. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all on TikTok signing off. No, ain't nobody going to limit me. No sweat. All right. You need a limit. You got too many baby daddies. You got too much STDs. You got one too many DUIs. You got, I don't know. You got too much everything. Yeah, and not enough discipline. You're putting a limit on discipline, though. I can't take no more. That's all I can stand. You ain't gonna do this to me. You have a limit on that. But everything else is free. Maybe you should flip it around. Maybe you should put a limit on everything else and, let your discipline abound. You'll find life would be way better. Life would be way more fulfilling. But once again, you may not be able to decide to do that. So now you got to have power over your head to help you decide that, to help you get to that point. And brothers, you better strive with all your might and power to maintain and preserve your masculinity. It's holy. Masculinity is the Holy Spirit. I'll tell you that straight up and down. To be masculine is to have the Holy Spirit, right? And the masculine is not what that brother did fighting over that damn pork chop. You ain't got to punch no woman in the damn mouth, man. You ain't got to beat her up. He's absolutely wrong for what the hell he did. But that situation there is damn near a microcosm of us as a nation, of us as a people. One broken household meeting another one. Missing a decisive man. And listen, this is the further thing. There were other men in the video. Yeah, the brother was older. The store owner. There was other people there. But nobody decided to face the consequence of now the wrath of this brother turning on them. Like, that's a decision you had to make too, you know. Say, man, I could intervene here, but now I had to deal with this fool. I'm doing that. Hey, brother, you ain't got to do that, man. Ain't no sweat, man. Listen, you could have my order. You could start to break that thing down. You could step in the front of it, but you're going to have to decide it. Somebody not deciding anything there is why he's dead. He didn't have no discipline. She didn't have none either. The boy get called into something where he had to do what he's seeing. And what he's seeing is somebody punching on his mother. So he did what he had to do. But somebody who's taken authority, who's taken control, taken responsibility could have stopped that situation. You get the point? We finished with that one? Go ahead.
And he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning.
And he that has no wife shall wander up and down mourning. What does that mean? What does that mean? Go ahead.
It sounds self-explanatory. Like you just want to, like, going from city to city crying about not having a woman.
No. That's no.
So is it more in tune with the precept in Genesis where he doesn't have a helpmate?
Okay, I think you'll get lost right there in the verse. Where no hedges, the possession is spoiled. And he that hath no wife will what?
Wander up and down mourning.
Like he has a woman, but she's not a wife.
He has a wife, but our wife ain't his because there's no hedge around her. Right. He's wandering up and down mourning because he's looking for her. You seen her? Is she over there? Don't be that guy. Do not be that guy, brother. I had a friend in the world, brother. I remember it so vividly and clear. And that day I looked at him, and I've never been able to look at him the same. He's not in here. I'm making that clear, right? He's known, knowing where we're from, big sports person. So of course, the girls is on it. So he have a ton of girls he play with, but he have this one who is, princess in a glass. And of course, the end of that is usually people coming back and telling her what he's doing. So she's going to want some get back. But of course, her demeanor, you would never, ever think it. Brother, she got some get back and this broke him. Broke him out. I'm trying to tell him, hey, let's go over there and drink out. I'll put all the money. We're going to buy some Johnny Walker. He's like, yeah, just now. Let me just see who coming out of the house. And I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, and then he starts to cry. And brother, I look at him. Just like that. Okay, once again, this was my homie. Yeah. I ain't never seen that. And okay, I think it's the damn, you got so many women. Why are you crying over this one? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it be like that. I look at him and I was like, shock, nope. If she gone, she gone. Help her go. Help her pack. Leave. Right. Don't stay around to see what you want to see. Right. What you want to witness. Don't wander up and down because you don't set a hedge over your possession. You get the point? Don't do that. Because now you let her be free. Yeah, I don't tell her what to do. She wear what she want to wear. She do what she want to do. This is the end story. Hey, baby, I'm home. You flick the lights on. It's not what you think. How could you do this to me? And who's this? Hey, I'm Bob. You don't want that part of you. You don't want, once again, you don't want to be YK Osiris and you don't want to be YAHANNA. You want something else. You get the point? You want something it's not this trivial and easily broken. All right. Give me that was the end of that. Give me First Ezra chapter 3. All right. And now, okay, this is one of the this is the main reason why you should always maintain that masculinity right here. This is what we're going into. You're gonna really understand the danger of not being masculine. You're gonna understand where it could land you. All right. Go ahead. Somebody pick it up for me. We're gonna definitely skip around. All right. Come on. I'm not gonna read this for time's sake.
First Ezra chapter 3, verse 1.
Yeah, start at 1, please.
Come. The book of First Ezra chapter 3, verse 1. Now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all his subjects, and unto all his household, and unto all the princes of Media and Persia. Okay. Verse 2. And to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him, from India unto Ethiopia, of 127 provinces. And when they had eaten and drunken, and being satisfied were going home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awaked. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts,
right?
And great things.
So no, go ahead. And great things.
Great gifts and great things. And great things in token of victory.
What verse you at now? Oh, verse 5. Right. So now, after this feast, these young men there, and young men, of course, he gets into idle banter, right? Which is why I give you all so much work, so you can stop talking so much shit. Right? Young men get into idle banter, and then they go end up in a council. Right? So getting a council with the job, with the labor, you'll always win. Right? Anyway, I'm joking, of course. But they get into this talk and they're saying, let's see, really what they're saying is, let's see which one of us is the wisest. That's why you say, let every man say a sentence and we'll see who, read it again. What do you say? Let every man say a sentence.
Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory. Who decided who are the wisest sentence?
I'm the greatest rapper alive. I know you heard that before. Who decided that? That's just what young men do. I'm the greatest. I'm the GOAT. Everybody's the GOAT, right? Everybody is the GOAT. Lil Wayne is the GOAT. Jay-Z the GOAT. Biggie, Tupac. Everybody's the GOAT. It's just an ego thing. So they're just, amongst themselves talking, and let's each say a sentence, and let's see whichever one seems the wisest. Darius gonna give this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. Right? Go ahead.
Go to verse 6. As to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold.
Young idle ambitions, just without purpose, to be clothed in purple. So I told you he had the ambitions of a young adolescent girl. I think I bring that up a few weeks ago, right? Ambitions of artsy young girl. The brother pulled a video, a picture today, saying that this comic book was illustrated by Bishop Nathaniel. I told you, listen. The purple, man, don't lie. That color is something else. Anyway, go ahead.
Verse 6. As to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck.
Right, that little too niggery for them. They're gonna stop at the purple though. The rest of the stuff you could keep that. That's too much nigger shit. Headpiece and chains. They don't want that. But once again, this is just young brothers, just just youth and halfway proud, halfway arrogant, talking amongst themselves. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 7, and he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius his cousin. And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius his pillow.
Right? So they're really, you know, doing some young man shit right here. Anyhow, skip to verse 10.
Verse 10, the first wrote, wine is the strongest.
The first one wrote, wine is the strongest. Go ahead.
The second wrote, the king is strongest.
The
third wrote, women are strongest.
All
but
right.
above,
right. The first one wrote, wine is the strongest. The second wrote, the king is the strongest. And the third wrote, women are strongest. Go ahead.
But above all things, truth beareth away the victory.
Right. But above all things, truth beareth away the victory. Break it down. All right, let's read a little more if you all ain't getting it yet. All right.
Verse 13.
Give me from 16.
Verse 16. And he said, call the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called and came in.
Right. So this is Darius calling them now because these letters is under his pillow. Right. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first who had spoken of the strength of wine. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine. It causeth all men to err that drink it.
Right. So that's what he's saying. Wine is strong. How exceeding strong is it? Because it caused men to err that drink it. It's so strong. What do we call wine? Or liquor? Strong. You got any strong? Brother's gonna say you got some. Well, we got some wine, meaning it ain't strong, but it's strong. You get the point? We call it strong. You got some strong because it's strong. It could make you do something that you wouldn't normally do. It could make you what? On topic. On what we was talking about all night. It could make you be undecisive. It could make you just abscond your responsibility and make that decision that you need to make, but you can't make it because, well, why not? I ain't supposed to be doing this. Bottoms up. You know you're gone when you toast and half of it end up on the floor. You should stop then, but whatever. Right? Go ahead.
Come, verse 19. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one. One of the bondmen and of the freemen, of the poor men and of the rich. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth.
Right. So he said it make the mind of the king and the mind of what's it?
It makes the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one.
The mind of the king and the fatherless child to be all one. That's heavy that he say a fatherless child. Break it down. What is the father providing?
Wisdom, guidance.
Discipline. Child has no father. Child would have no discipline, no wisdom, no guidance. He's saying the mind of the king is the same as the mind of the child with no father. Alcohol could do that. It's strong. That was a wise statement. That was right. You know what I mean? That was all right. Where we at now?
Verse 19. Of the bondmen and of the freemen, of the poor men and of the rich. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor death.
Right. Now it does have a purpose. It could help you. The scriptures say, give a man strong drink for his infirmities. You get the point? It might be a time you need to go tap that bottle. You might need to empty the bottle. Who the hell knows? But if you're doing that shit every day, you got a problem. If you can't remember, nothing, you draw a blank. Man, last thing I remember, we were so and then so and so, and I wake up at home. Who brought me home? I mean, if you're in that position, it's bad, right? So wine is strong. It turn every thought into jollity, meaning what?
It gives you happiness, but
It make you so happy where you're not considering do's and don'ts no more. You're not considering rights and wrong. Everything is just happy and fun. You just want to be happy and fun. You get the point? It turns every thought into that, which is YK Osiris. I guarantee he was on something. Go ahead, sis. I guarantee he was on something when he grabbed Sukiyana, because boy, he grabbed her twice. Grab her one time and then grab her and turn her whole face. That took a lot of. Anyway. All right, go ahead.
Verse 21. And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor, and maketh to speak all things by talents.
Right. So now when he said make every heart rich, so he don't remember, so that a man remembered neither king nor governor. What does it mean?
Like you said, he not considering now order or structure. The discipline is gone.
It's gone. So what is he doing?
I'm the same as the king.
So because he's the same, what is he doing?
He's talking to him without the reverence that
he's saying whatever out his mouth.
Right.
He's saying whatever, whenever, whoever, and that's that. And he ain't remembering king or governor until he wake up in that cell, though. He wake up in that cell. I did some stupid shit to line here. I just don't know what. That's Lord forbid. I never want that amount of stress. I'm just saying, this ain't strong. Get the point? Now give me let's skip down to verse 24.
Verse 24. O ye men, is it not wine the strongest that enforceth to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace.
Right. So you say, listen, it's not wine the strongest that makes us do all these things. Go ahead.
Chapter 4, verse 1. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength, that bear rule over sea and land, and all things in them? But yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things, and hath dominion over them. And whatsoever he commanded, them they do. If he bid them make war, the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go and break down mountains, walls, and towers. They slay and are slain, and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king, as well the spoil as all things else.
Yes, and that's what he's saying. He's saying like men who go to war, great and mighty men, physically. Great and mighty men physically and mentally. Yet still, that king, he tell them go left, they're going to go left. He tell them stand down, they're going to stand down. The king is ruler over all of that. They win something. The Navy team, SEAL Team 6. SEAL Team 6 was responsible for taking out Osama bin Laden in his house. Who got all the credit? Barack Obama. Got all the credit. Obama took out bin Laden. Obama was in the war room. In the war room, I think that's what they call it, right? As a situation room. Shit, goddamn! I thought Situation Room was a program on CNN. It is a program. So I ain't tripping. Okay, it's a Situation Room, right? So he's sitting down watching them do the work, but he gets all the glory for it. You get the point? Now this brother here is expounding on the amount of power a king has, the amount of dominion a king has, that he could, he controls things that are forces of nature, in his kingdom. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. Likewise, for those that are no soldiers and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry, when they have reaped again that which they had sown, they bring it to the king and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king. And yet he is but one man. If he command to kill, they kill. If he command to spare, they spare. If he command to smite, they smite. If he command to make desolate, they make desolate. If he command to build, they build. If he commands to cut down, they cut down.
You get the point. You know, you can stop there. He's running down how the king is also, he's powerful. Of course, his brother, he definitely had the wisdom because, of course, Darius is the king. So he's like, damn, this brother think I'm the most powerful thing. You get the point? This brother trying to play for keeps. All right, skip me down to the last one.
Then the third, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third, who had spoken of woman and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel. So, yeah, Zerubbabel.
Right.
Began to speak. Oh, ye.
Salaki, what was the name of the other two?
Didn't say. Salaki.
Oh. I'm just saying. This is all I'm just saying. This is all I'm just saying. That's, you know, that's heavy.
Right.
This is really heavy. Go ahead.
This was Zerubbabel.
Mm-hmm.
Began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them?
Right. So he's saying, listen, it's not wine or the multitude of men or even the king that excelleth. So who is it that ruleth? Go ahead.
Who is it then that ruleth them, or have the lordship over them? Are they not women?
Who rule it and who has lordship over them? Is it not women? Is it not women who ruling everything? Go ahead.
Women have borne the king, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards.
Right. So now that's where's that argument familiar with?
I was gonna say it sounds like one of Egyptologists.
That's that conscious community. The woman is God. She gave you life. She nursed you. She brought you forward. The first meal you got is from her breast. The black woman is God. God gonna get you out of that jail cell. Why you was trying to F with God? If the black woman is God, you shouldn't have been. Anyway, let's keep going.
From whence the wine cometh, these also make garments.
Where you
men.
at?
Verse 17, sir. Now.
Okay.
Go back up to 16.
Yeah, please.
Verse 16. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh.
Right. So even the farmers who they talk about, the husbandmen who would plant the vineyards, which the wine come from their work. A woman raised them men and nourished them up. You get the point? Go ahead.
These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men. And without woman cannot men be.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world. You gotta get a heat on the steam coming off when he ain't nothing without a woman. Nothing. You can't do nothing without it. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape?
Do they not gape? That's an old school. You used to use that word a whole lot in there. See, you gaping, watching your mouth open. You're gaping. You ever talk to a brother and he just stopped, he just pausing. Yeah, so and so and so. Like Umar. We must be focused, brothers. We must be focused. Listen, he talking something, something becomes a property, and he turn and he do something with his mouth like he was tasting the lust. Then he come back. We must be focused, brothers. That's why you know it's a demon. He used pronouns. He said we must be focused. Like Legion in here, that's like we must be focused, brothers. We've got to stay focused. Good.
Like I seen him do that with the white woman.
Oh, for real?
He was in the car, and then like you can see in the rearview mirror a white woman crossing, and you can see his eyes tracking her. And he was like, "We must stay focused."
Damn.
Black man, we
don't say that, man. Come on, Umar. Damn.
Umar, Papa Tunde, whatever.
Damn. That's a rough one. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And letting all those things go, do they not gape? And even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her, and have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold,
right,
or any goodly thing whatsoever?
right. Men will desire her more than silver and gold. What's the proof? What's the proof? Oh yeah, y'all ain't want to say it. Y'all ain't want to say it. You give it to her. You give her the silver and the gold. You give it over to her. Go ahead. You got it. What you need? Huh? What you got? I got it. Zaddy got you. You give her the silver and the gold, or
I was gonna go left with this. Definitely
come on,
not.
no.
It's definitely not
No, it probably is. It probably is right there with it.
It's a little.
Go ahead. Come on. Confess.
I was gonna say like if it's outside of the school.
Spit it out.
Bring it up. Outside of the school, like this is from what I've seen. Most men don't really like consider what a woman might bring to the table. Like it's like we're not thinking about what she does for a living, her job. Like most men will accept a woman that has no value in this society.
I'll give you everything in the world. You ain't got to be perfect.
Right.
You get the point? You ain't got to be perfect. Yeah, you ain't got to be perfect. You ain't got to be nothing. You ain't gonna have no standard. The other thing I was talking about is you will pay the silver and gold and a dowry for her. That's the proof. You go slave for that dowry. You pick up extra shifts because you know, shit, by the time the camp leader call you back, you know, you waited and say, well, brother, okay, you know, so you still slaving, right? You hear that talk, you're like, oh, shit. Yeah, so I'm still slaving. Yeah, okay. Well, give me, and then the phone get quiet. Say that again, so how much? You get the point? You're going to pay that for her. You're going to give it to her. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 20. A man leaveth his own father that brought him up and his own country and cleaveth unto his wife.
Damn. Who are you talking about? Shit. Go ahead.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife. And remembereth neither father nor mother nor country.
What does that mean? He sticketh not. He says, that's so, listen. So what is on? So what on, eh? Oh boy, I need so have to corroborate this here. Brother, in the Caribbean, we used to say this word called sticking. Like you're sticking. And it means you're hesitating. Like you might see a broad you like, and you telling the homies about her, but you ain't never going to talk to her. Say, yo, you're sticking her. You're sticking. You know what I mean? Go ahead and stick. Go ahead and stick. Like don't move then. Go ahead.
Like I said, you guys, I don't know over here, but you guys say you stuck. Oh, so they got you stuck. Like, oh man, what's up?
But that okay, now is that before you even talk to her, or
Yeah, before
so you just it's the same thing? Go ahead.
I was gonna translate it to DC term today. Like,
No, you ain't gonna.
go ahead, go smack, man.
Go ahead and go. But what do they say if you're not going smack?
They just like you sweet.
Oh, you sweet. No, that's different. I ain't gonna never tell a dude that. Man, you sweet, man. Shit. Damn. DC. I see why they be having so much violence in DC. What? You know, sweet these bullets. Right? So he's sticking. I'll read scripture again.
Verse 21. He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife. What does that mean?
He's not hesitating.
He ain't hesitating, boy. He pulling the trigger on that thing right there. He going smack. He going smile, pressure it up. You know what I mean? We say in DC, we say, oh yeah, book that thing. I'm gonna book that thing right there. Yeah. And smack right on. And listen, she like that shit. She might act like she ain't like that shit. She gonna go and tell all them girlfriends all about that shit. You all ain't got them house phones no more. But back in the day, in prehistoric time, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, she would be like this on the phone, twinkling around the damn curly cord between the headset and the damn the base. Say, girl, she doing this thing here, twiddling. By the time one of our brothers come and use the phone, you gotta stretch the bitch out because she done twist this shit around talking about how this nigga went smack. You get the point? Go ahead.
And remember, if neither father nor mother nor country.
Listen, that woman could do that. A woman could do that. How many times you may have said it to a brother said it to you, where, man, since you and so booed up, I can't see you no more. You still remember how to play ball? Can you hoop, nigga? You know what I mean? Or you might be like, shit, man, she got you in the house. I ain't seen you. Listen, you even got lighter. You ain't seen the sun. That's a woman could do that. Don't worry about it. You get a rib, all of a sudden the scales start tipping to the right. Only time you ain't got to buy new jeans, you wearing the same thing from 5 years ago. You get a rib, it's like you take a deep breath, you just blow the hell up. Because she could do that. She could keep you right. Go ahead.
Verse 22. By this also ye must know that women have dominion over you.
Mm-hmm.
Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
All right then. God damn. You're supposed to know she got dominion. You're supposed to know that. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sell upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
Come on, man. That ain't no joke. That's the real deal Holyfield right there. I'm trying to tell you. That's the real deal Holyfield. You remember that what's the one who was with Steve Harvey's daughter, the actor? Michael B. Jordan. You big A-list actor. You Michael B. Jordan. You the nigga from The Wire. You act in so many movies. What's his name in The Wire? Wallace. You Wallace, man. Come on, man. You was a good kid. You Michael B. Jordan. You go to her. But once again, a woman. You understand? A woman like you. Go ahead.
So like back in the day in the world, I used to have friends that to prove that women got the men over them. We used to be like, we had a project. In the corner, girls come past, they start showing off like, yeah, this is the impressive girl, like, yeah, you saw how I slap cuz?
Yeah.
Cuz ran
just to yeah. That's it. Ain't no sweat. Don't worry about it. The cream's all rise to the top. Don't worry about that. Listen, we all did some dumb shit to impress some broad somewhere, and she ain't nowhere around. You played yourself. Yeah, B. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Damn.
And become servants for their sakes.
The verse before, like, okay, and this is also proof too, especially Bakwash, to your question earlier as well. Most times it's okay, not all the time, but you'll find in a lot of cases when there's an issue, the brother is actually trying to work the shit out first. He's actually trying. And when it goes, if it has to go to a council or it end up in some kind of, divorce court like Johnny Depp, you find out that man loved that broad way more than she loved him. That's the type of power you have. That's why you need to maintain that masculinity. You're going to need to maintain. Your love has to be duty. Let her be the head over heels one. Let her be the, caught up in a wind of emotion. You can't be YK Osiris. You can't be, I'll give you the world, baby girl. No, sir. You can't be that. You're gonna have to be, this is duty. This ain't no emotion attached to this shit here, and still make it appear emotional. But you can't be that thing because she'll make you a servant. Right. You get the point? Instead of serving you, she'll make you a servant. Go ahead.
So like I said, it's a real crude, but my pastor should say this to us, and I never understood it. But it's the Bible. He said either you gonna be the bee or she gonna be the bee in the relationship.
Listen, and
he's like, but somebody's
if sprinkle a little sugar on top, you can make bitch sound like her middle name and she'll love it. I'm trying to tell you, you a bad bitch, bitch. I know. You can, you get the point. You get the point? So it's that you're gonna have to do it, and you could teach her to be like that, and she could be like that if she has power over her head. Power over her head allows her to be emotional as in the right sense of emotion, having femininity. Power over her head puts her in a feminine spirit, which rejuvenates her. It keeps her vibrant and young and fresh and rolling. That whole thing of being free is all them decisions and shit. She gonna start to look like the back of your hand. She is not gonna help her. You know what I mean? You be masculine, let her be the feminine one. Anytime it flips over and changes, I hate to see this, these people in the world, of course, getting down on one knee and tears coming out your eye and a ring. And I'm like, brother, god damn, this thing had to stop at some point. At some goddamn point, it has to stop, because this is just too much. You shouldn't be like that. You get the point? You should go talk to her father about her, how much you want. That's a masculine thing to do. Salaki, sir. Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you remember she was at Passover, she took the picture with you? Hold on, sir. Yeah, let me screenshot and send you the picture. I'm gonna get you the inside now. That's the Lex, bro. Let's go. Let me send you the picture, sir. Oh, yeah. I see why you're asking. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so you're asking about her? Okay, all right. Okay. And how much, okay. You get the point? Like, that's a masculine conversation there where you negotiating her dowry. You negotiating from another brother who is masculine how much he's willing to part with his valuable daughter so you could have her to have pleasure for the rest of your life with some sort of agreement. That's a masculine thing. That's not, it's not that other, you trying to sneak in and seduce a dumbass broad. And no, that's, like going to negotiate to buy a car or a TV or something. You're talking to a salesperson about this thing and we making a deal and it's set. You get the point? Like, that's strong. That's, that's it. Go ahead.
Right. So that dowry conversation is the first initial conversation?
I mean, Salaki, that's what the hell I would do. I'm not even asking the quarter if I can't pay for her. What am I doing that for? I mean, that's me personally. I'm not saying you have to. You don't. She could be bad to you that you don't care what her price is. That's fine. Me on the other hand, I'm a little bit more frugal with that shit. Yeah, I mean, there's Salakia. I'm a little bit Salakia. So yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I was just checking. Ain't no sweat. Salakia. Now listen, there's some. I'm gonna tell you straight. I was like, done. I didn't even negotiate that. Done. I'm not negotiating. That's what you tell me? No sweat. That's fine. But what you thinking? You would ask the quarter first?
I didn't know the price. I'm just.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. That's my personal preference. I wouldn't court first because you might like her, and now you can't break away from the dowry because you like her so much. Now what you gonna do? Get 5 jobs? Maybe the dowry is high because she ain't for you. It could be. I don't know. Once again, there's more of them than us in all. You get the point? You gotta have a strategy for this shit. When you go to buy a car, do you ask the price first or you test drive it first? She's a possession. Mine, like them little ducks from Nemo. Mine. Yeah, you probably might want to see if you can afford her first. You probably just might want to check that out. You don't try to fall in love with the broad. See if you can. Okay, yeah, I could pay for her. Okay, now that you could pay for her, let me go see if she's worth this dowry. To me, she might be worth it to somebody else. But it might be like Salaki. See, I told her for a little while. I don't think it's right for me, Salaki. And that's that. It could be that. You know what I mean? It's every man. You could go ask the price first. I'll buy it off the rack. You know what I mean? Shit, I'll do it too. She might be that bad. I'll be like, Sir Salaki, forget the courtship. I'm in position to marry right now. How much you want? Cash app. Forget the check. What's the cash app, sir? And that's that. Yeah, and they'll buy that off the shelf. We're gonna work out whatever problems later. I mean, Salak, I'm going to go to war for you. Because that thing thinging. That thing there you got, that thing thinging. So you want to act the fool after I done seal this deal? No problem. We're going to go to war. But me and you going to war. That's fine. You get the point? Or you might pay a dowry and be like, pay for this motherfucker. Damn it. Pay it for you. I can't believe I fucking paid for it. I mean, it's the stages to this shit out. You live your learn. Ain't no sweat. Point is, she got power. All right? She got power. All right? Where we at?
Verse 26. Verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have purged, have erred, and sinned for women.
And that's case in point what happened in Chicago. You get the point? Like that whole thing centered around her. You get the point? That whole thing. If it was a man, them two men would just fight each other. You get the point? Some might get blown away, but it's two of them. Not that it's any better, but like there's a significant amount of power a woman could wield, knowingly or unknowingly, which is important. Why you should have power on her head, and she should be raised up right. Go ahead.
Right. I was gonna say
Hit that light behind you if you don't mind.
Right
yeah.
I was gonna say back in the day, the rapper Tupac said it to me best because he was like, whenever you see problems with crime,
You said it to me. He was talking to you. I feel you. No, listen, I'm listening to what you're saying. That's fly as hell. Listen, he said this thing to me. Yeah, I mean, like, nigga spoke to you. No, I'm not calling. I mean, like, he was spitting something where it's like, damn, like he talking to me. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, because once again, she got no authority. She don't have no power over her head. Yes, and the scripture say, bend her neck while she is young. Right. And it's not talking about literally do this, which is where them yeah, I mean, maybe okay, not so much them, because even in our culture, that's still a shamefaced posture for a sister, where she right hand and left hand, eyes averted. You get the point? Eyes, away from the the gaze. You get the point? But it's a humility you want to put in her, because a stretched forth neck is the proud neck, like in Isaiah. Right. A woman are haughty, mincing forward with stretched forth necks instead of being humble. They think they're you. Right. You get the point? Without that, there's a certain amount of power she could wield that could be destructive. It could be destructive, like how the general brought out with Emmett Till. That white bro, what's her name? Carolyn Bryant. Rest in shit, Carolyn Bryant. Right? I don't care about TikTok. I told you all that before. Right? But she wielded a certain amount of power because she had no authority over her head. She didn't have nobody to come and say, he whistled at you. What was you doing for him to whistle at you? Right. Should be your first thing. So he just walk up and whistle at you. What was you doing? How was you dressed? Right. You get the point? Like it gonna have to be that in order to make sure not mess don't happen. But if you're just gonna take her word for it, then she could wield a certain amount of power that you'll only find out that she done spin this web after the fact. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 28. And now do ye not believe me? Mm-hmm. Is not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him?
Right. Even the king. Isn't the king great in power? Isn't the king have a ton of power where he can, not everybody could come touch him physically or try to test him in war? You get the point? Isn't he not great in power? Go ahead.
Yet did I see him and obtain the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Bardicus, sitting at the right hand of the king. And
he's at a bust files now. He's at a WikiLeaks thing. He said, yeah, the king powerful, right? But didn't I see him with some bad broad, who the king is one of the king ribs, who is the daughter of this upstanding citizen Bardicus. Go ahead.
And taking the crown from the king's head and setting it upon her own head, she also struck the king with her left hand.
Right. Meaning she's sitting down next to him, probably make his way onto his lap. Oh, king, some run the index finger down the beard. You know, brothers fall for that shit. Run the index finger down the beard here, and then what if I were king for a day and put the crown on her head? Crown probably fall down to her neck because you know it's a king, it's a man, and playfully smack him in the face with her left hand. This is a king. Get it, point? Right. Listen, Trump was the president, right? Making all kind of calls, calling all kind of shots, right? And Melania pulled away from him. You remember that shit? Pulled away from him, and he just looked at her and just keep moving. Right. She got some power. See what? You got some power. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 31. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth.
Listen. I try to tell you, that I.S.U.P.K ain't nothing good about that, bro. But some of you are gazing with open mouth at this bitch. I mean, goddamn. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This is all I'm just saying. Go ahead, YAHANNA.
Officer Barack reported Ice.
No, she can't rap. What's her lyrics? She got lyrics? She got anything? Nothing. Listen, say again? He got what? Listen, I think he can. I think he can afford about 10 of her because she is calm on her. That brother is not. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. That's not, if you like her, that's fine. It's not me. Just go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 31. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. And she laughed upon him. He laughed also.
She must have been bad. You know she got to be bad when the brother just like, oh shit, you wild, sis. Damn, that was funny as shit. Let me see that again. Play that. You see that again there? Come on. Show that to me again. You know she got to be bad when you acting and you start, acting. You going to a full-out character change over that tail, brother. Better be careful. I'm trying to tell you. Go ahead.
But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter that she might be reconciled to him again.
Which is what? Paint the picture for me. What would you see?
She's upset or displeased, and now he fronting. He doing whatever he got to do now to make.
That's it. Like imagine she's sitting down on his lap. You see it all the time. Some bro doing something, and he like, don't play with me like that, and she pout and turn the other way. Right. And he like, come on, right. You ain't gonna be like that. You start petting her on her back and touching her spot, and come on, look at this. You start doing that thing because she's so goddamn bad. You ain't trying to fumble. Sometimes you need to fumble. Just Salakia. But now, of course, if this is already your possession, brother, that's sometimes you do that shit. You had to do that. You get the point? But now the point of this here is the power she has, because this man sends an army to destroy a nation. She take the crown off his head. You understand? It's power. Go ahead.
Verse 32. O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do us?
Sit it. Go ahead.
Then the king and the princes looked one upon another. So he began to speak of the truth. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in its course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things.
Say it again.
Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things.
Say it one more time.
Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things.
The truth is stronger than everything. The truth is it. And brother, that masculinity you're gonna get, it comes from being in the truth. That's why these fake Israelite groups are so K with the H, so effeminate. They're just so indisciplined. without purpose, overly emotional, just they're not UPK. They're not One West. You get the point? The truth is what gives you that masculinity, because sometimes that powerful woman, she's a bitch, and you might not be able to tell her that. You might cop out. Sometimes that alcohol means you're an alcoholic, and you might not be able to tell yourself that. You get the point? But the truth is what's most powerful. The truth is what's strongest. You understand? Let me get some more. Where you at?
That was verse 35.
37.
Verse 37. Wine is wicked.
Mm-hmm.
The king is wicked. Women are wicked.
Mm-hmm.
All the children of men are wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And such are all their wicked works. And
That's YK, Osiris, and Sukiana. And when you saying wicked is okay, I'm not talking about like how the Christians say you wicked, because them motherfuckers wicked too. You get the point? I'm saying what they do can offend, can hurt, can disappoint. The truth is the truth. The truth, that's just it. You're wrong, or you're right, or you're up, you're down, you're down. The truth is just the truth. You understand? Go ahead.
And there's no truth in them.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the point. There is no truth in them. If they had the truth, that it would have been different. You get the point? You people always say, y'all UPK, y'all think you're perfect. Yes, we are perfect. We perfected the perfection that Christ talked about. What do I mean when I say that? Do brothers make mistakes? Hell yes. Do sisters make mistakes? Hell yes. So how could we be perfect? Because we correct those mistakes. That's what's perfection. Perfection is not something that can't be broken or would not have a flaw. Perfection is being able to fix the flaw. That's what makes it perfect. Because if that's not perfect, does anything never break down? Does anything just never, never go bad, never go out of whack, never nothing? No, it does happen. What makes it perfect is that it could be repaired, that this thing could be fixed. That's the perfection. That's what making it perfect is. You could keep these laws. How could you keep these laws? By getting checked, by somebody checking the shit out of you, checking you and chastising you, and you correct yourself. And now you're stronger than you was yesterday, last month, last year. Now you get the truth. You understand? You don't just go off and form some fake Israelite group because a problem happened. You are imperfect. You imperfect. This is perfection. Go ahead.
And their unrighteousness also they shall purge.
Mm-hmm.
As for the truth, it endureth.
Say it again.
As for the truth, it endureth.
Why does it endure? Because correction happens over time. Correction is not today for tomorrow. It happens over time. The truth endures because you're getting checked. You're getting corrected. That's what makes us perfect. That's why it's strong. That's why it's stronger than everything else. Go ahead.
And is always strong.
Mm.
It liveth and conquereth forevermore.
The truth is always strong. Never, ever lose your masculinity. Never do it. Never do it. Don't ever give it up. Don't compromise it. You sisters, you learn to value masculinity. Value it and praise it and invest in it once you recognize it. Because when this masculinity is gone from the earth and America falls, because it's falling right now, you're going to wish you had a toxic man around. You're going to wish you had some old toxic, bull-headed, just, his way or the highway Negro around. You're going to wish it. Now you have a ton of fake safety with this oppressor. Invest in it because the truth is always strong. Any more? What verse you at?
I'm at 39 now.
Read that last part again then.
Verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong.
Go ahead.
It liveth.
It what?
It liveth.
It liveth. This the truth live. It's alive. It's alive. It's a practical thing. It's not something you learn in church like the Catholics and you put it on a shelf when you go home. This is everyday life. Had that sister been in the truth, brother, the other brother would have been alive. 14-year-old boy been in the truth. He 14 in the truth. Mommy giving him that order. I mean, goddamn, this Yad Karab for a reason. You go through Hebrew Academy for a reason. You get the point? Go ahead. It liveth. Go ahead.
It liveth and conquereth forevermore.
The truth wins. The truth wins. It conquereth forevermore. Maintain your masculinity. The truth depends on it. Maintain that thing. That's the Holy Spirit given to you from the Lord. I know a brother had a question about Tobit, Salakia, brother. You might have to ask a question tomorrow or next week. Go ahead.
There's another question. Probably a little quicker than that.
Okay.
Princess Sierra says, Salakia, what is the correct way to treat your family of the world if they don't follow the truth, but they still want to be a part of your life?
Okay, that might need a little more explaining. I don't know what she means when she says they still want to be a part of your life. I don't know what that means. Like, are they forcing you to do stuff? Like that part is you're gonna need. I'm gonna need some more from it. I'm not saying you have to say it now, but that needs some more. Let me just get 2 scriptures real quick, and then we're done. Give me division, not peace, but a sword, and also you give me that one. And if they be happy to dwell with thee.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right, that's Christ. It's written in red. I ain't come to send peace, but a sword. That's because what will happen is that you start to come in the truth, you're going to start to have issues with your family first. That's who's going to become, almost like your enemy. Keep going. And somebody look for the other one for me. I'm probably paraphrasing it wrong. If the unbelieving is pleased to dwell with thee. All right, hold it for me. Go ahead.
Think. Keep on. This scripture.
Yes.
Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
Right.
And the daughter against her mother.
Right. I've come to set at variance. Variance is an old word, an old English word. They use it in math a lot. Right. For the difference. Difference or varying difference. Our variance is like varying. Right. I'm come to set a variance. Who?
Against his father. And the daughter against her mother.
That's the truth. That's life. You're going to come in here and you're going to be beefing with your people. You're going to be beefing with your people, and that's the truth. That's the life you're going to live. Go ahead.
And the daughter against her mother. And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. That's what's going to happen to you. So now that you know that's going to happen to you, you should not be surprised. You should not be shocked. It should not take you by surprise. You understand? You should not get taken by it and jarred and jolted by it, because Christ already said this is going to happen. So now that you know this is going to happen, whatever happens with your family members, I'm speaking in general now, some family members might offend you. Some family members will try to pressure you or press you. You don't have to have that emotional knee-jerk reaction, because you already know this, I'm in the truth now. This is how they're going to operate. Give me the other one.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 13. And the woman which had an husband that believeth not, and he be pleased with S-like.
Read it again from the top.
And the woman which had an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
Right.
Verse 14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife.
All right, slack it. Go back up to the 13.
13. And the woman which has a husband that believeth not.
Right. The Bible says this: a woman who has a husband that believeth not. Go ahead.
And if he be pleased to dwell with her.
If he be pleased to dwell with her, meaning he don't believe the same shit she believe. But listen, that's what she into. No problem. I'm still your man. I'm still stick around. Go ahead.
Let her not leave him.
Let her not leave him. That's it. if he be pleased to dwell with her, meaning he's still her man in every sense of the way except Passover or something else. You get the point? That's what being pleased to dwell with her means. Not being pleased to dwell with her is you're not even her man. You get the point? You're not even, you're not fulfilling the marriage. You get the point? So now we're taking that premise with a union between a man and a woman. You may have family members you might live with, and they're pressing you. Listen, if they ain't stressing you out, don't even sweat it. You get the point? They don't even sweat it. You don't have to cut your family members out your life if you are not, controlled by them, just like with what we just read with Eve, right? Like how she could have power over you. You don't have to cut them out. Now, if you come from some, a situation that's highly toxic, you might have some abuse, some relative there, some sort of, ridiculousness going on, you might have to cut them off. You might have to do that. But I don't know what position or situation you're in. You might be living with them and you're trying to figure out how to be in the truth in the house. How to be in the truth in the house is the same way like you go to college and you're in a dorm. You understand? You in there with people who believe in Satan, who believe in nothing. And how you be there? I'm just here for school. What you all into, I'm not into. That's you, fine. Ain't no sweat. But I'm just here for this degree. You in that house, I'm just here for the shelter and the lights. Whatever you're all into, I'm not, I ain't invested into it. I'm not emotionally moved by it. You could just become like that, like be a professional, like on your slavery, right? How you are on your slavery, your boss doesn't believe the same thing. Your co-worker doesn't believe the same thing. The security guard don't believe the same thing. I'm just here to collect this check. I'm not trying to teach you shit. Don't ask me shit. Just mind your business. Let me go my way. Can't wait for 5 so I could get on Facebook and be like, what up, my niggas? Post. Like, send, what up, nigga? That's you. But you not trying to be with them. Now, if they're on the slave and they starting to do things, once again, it's not a general blanket thing. I don't know the full situation of it. So, you might have to, at a later date or just get counsel and you'll see what's going on. But in general, you don't have to have conflict with your family unless they are having that conflict with you, which you might need to make a separation. But that separation in this situation, in any situation, usually should start with a physical separation. You might have to have your own place where you're not under them. And then from there, you could just not answer the phone. And over time, is that. They'll still call. They'll still try to show up. But it's not the same as if they could, go in the back and knock on your door and talk shit. And it's not the same like if they see you walking in and out the house and going in the fridge and you're not touching the pork that they think is so delicious. They just fry some pork and eggs. You come to make breakfast. You had to wash the pan out like if they're dirty. That's how they think it. Yeah. They're going to internalize it as, what's wrong with you? Oh, I'm dirty now. You can't just use this. They don't understand that this pork is dirty to you, and because they had it, you can't. They don't get that, and you shouldn't fight them on it. What you should do is go buy your own pan. You should go buy your own house. Get your own house. Rent your own house. Stand on your own. You get the point? Stand on your own. Or become so amazing. This is another thing, right? This was a sister who asked the question. This was you could become so amazing that some masculine brother gonna just go kill a whole nation and get a house for you and just put you up in there. And now there ain't no beef. You start a whole new family. That's an option too. And that takes work though, but it's an option. With that, pass the class over to priest and officer Kagad.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are offering it for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. After this 6 months period, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teach. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upholy convocation, which is the Day of Atonement.
Is this still running?
It's wonderful.
Is this still running? I think it's blowing on trumpets.
It's the it's the memorial of blowing of the trumpet.
You could clip this now. That.
It's the memorial of blowing of the trumpet. The first day of the 7th month, Friday, 15th September 2023. You can find that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 24 to 25. Remind Akim and Al-Wathan to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headbands, or scarf. And with that, I say imagine, which means to stand. You're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. I.S.U.P.K. Yahweh. Malach Taba'ah. Ratazayaka. I.S.U.P.K. Ba'aratazah. Kawah. Bashamayim. The thunder now. The come. Cow. Yawam. Masalakina. Kabawathina. Masalakina. Kabawathina. Wala'ah. Vanasaya one. Above. Awashayana. Mayan. Ride. Kaya. Laka. Wahatapara. Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven,
hallowed
be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
We're going to say I cut the power. Psalm, which means to turn. Sisters, you may be seated. Men of Israel, we will give word courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Maju Shabbat, Imaju, Barak.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahweh Matah, Psalm, which means to turn. Sisters, you may stand. Men of Israel, we will give word courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Maju Shabbat, Imaju, Barak.
Yahweh Shema Alatham Bashem Yahushua.
Yahweh Matah, class is next.